Hello and welcome to the Renault DP World Formula One season relaunch. In 1 week, we will be seeing the cars out on track in Austria around 4 months after we last saw them on track in Australia. But my goodness, what a 4 months it has been. We all know the difficulties that the world has faced within that time, and it's just worth sending our thoughts to everybody who has been affected by the global pandemic and indeed who continues to be affected at this difficult time. And sport has not been immune, and the Formula One weekend we have ahead of us in Austria will be incredibly different to the spectacle that we have become used to seeing every Saturday and Sunday. They really are unprecedented times, but I'm delighted to have Daniel, Ricciardo, Esteban, Ocon, but first the team principal of the Renault DP World Formula One team with me, Cyril Abiteboul. Cyril, great to see you. How are you, and how have the last 4 months been for you?
Well, it's been clearly a very, very strange period, as it's been for every single one of us. Well, I'm not going to go back to Australia because I think it's now really behind. Obviously, we can't forget what has happened there, and probably all the work that has gone into the preparation of Austria, the race next week, is also showing how much we were unprepared to the situation in Australia when the situation first occurred on that Thursday evening. So it's been clearly a long road since then, with lots of things. Nine weeks shut down in Enstone, 7 weeks in Viry. Basically, first focusing on protecting our staff, then protecting our team and our companies, and also protecting the sport.
Formula One is very used to negotiating changes, but one of the changes we have is the calendar for this year, a real mix of double headers, even triple headers back again. Is this the right balance for Formula One to try and get a season done?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably the price to pay and the right price to pay for a season to take place, a season that will have all the chances to qualify as a championship by virtue of the regulation and sporting code, but also of offering some content. I think we've shown in the world that the content consumption and all the platforms that exist are fantastic. But if you have no content to push in the pipeline, that's also some waste opportunities.
I'd like to welcome Daniel Ricciardo to the conversation. He is in a reasonably noisy flat in Monaco. Daniel, we shall crack on, and if it gets noisy, then just let me know. How have you been? You must be raring to go.
Yes, I believe they've stopped for a little while, so let's. Someone's going to fall through my roof in a moment, but yeah, I'm well, thank you, and hey to yourself. Hello to yourself and everyone listening or watching. So I'm just, as you say, raring to go. Absolutely. And you're probably going to hear from Esteban that he's even more. I feel like November, December was such a long time ago since racing, since competing. But he's got plus 12 months on that, so I can't imagine what Esteban's feeling, but yeah, it's close now.
Speaking to a lot of different sports people during these 4 months, there seems to be two camps. There's the camp that says that they cannot live without their sport, and there's another camp who's almost tried to make the most of every day. They say it's been good for the mind, good for the body, and it could even prolong their career. So I presume that you would be in the more positive camp, seeing what you've been doing on your social media and just trying to make the most of it all.
Absolutely. It's been certainly taken a lot of positives from it. I think with the way our schedule is, and you get into a rhythm, you're traveling every few days and time zones and jet lag, and you go through quite a bit of sleep deprivation, and you kind of charge on. But I think normally at the end of the season when we stop, I feel like everyone comes down with a cold, or we're just run down. So your body does take a bit of a beating, and that's even aside from just the competition, just the circus and the travel. that we're involved in. But having a bit of a kind of forced break was a chance to not only recover, but it was a chance to really improve. Certainly physical condition, not dealing with time zones and different beds and hotels and whatever. It's like, okay, one place for a few months, and I could actually establish a routine which I could keep for more than 4 or 5 days. It was a 3-month routine, which was really good. So, the negative, of course, was not being able to race, not being able to compete. But being away from it reiterated how much I love it and how much I miss it. So that was, I'd say that was a positive as well.
Esteban, I was going to say sorry to keep you waiting, but my goodness, you must be sick of waiting, not just 4 months, but last year as well. How are you?
Well, it's been so long since I'm waiting, Lee. Hello, everyone. A year and a half. It's just crazy. It seems like everything is going against me for me to restart. But it's been a very strange period, for sure. I took it as an extended time to prepare, time to get ready. I felt good, restarting in the car last week. It's been so cool to get back to a real track after spending so much time doing esports. Getting back to the real track felt awesome. Going back out of the garage is a special feeling after such a long time. And it didn't take me long to get back up to pace. I felt good, I felt sharp, I felt quick. So I'm definitely ready to restart next week in Austria.
And how have you found that the safety protocols have changed things from your point of view, Daniel?
Probably not much for me to elaborate on. Just I'm a hugger. I like hugging people, so that's going to change. So I got to keep my distance. But I'm sure, we're going to find some new ways to embrace each other, especially after a good result. But obviously we're going to do what we can to keep this thing away and keep it out of the paddock. Obviously we've waited, so long to get back to doing, as I said before, what we love. So we'll do our utmost to make sure that once we get back in there, we can remain and stay strong and healthy and keep it out. So no hugging for now.
Esteban, are you changing any of your habits for health and safety reasons due to COVID, and do you feel fit and ready?
Massively, yes. I'm changing everything. There's not one single thing that I do the same in my life nowadays when I travel or as soon as I go out to get some food at the supermarket or anything. Everything's different, of course. It's as I said, it would be crazy to have waited so long, to have prepared that much and arrive and be positive at the test, and for myself or risking, myself to be positive and getting risk for the team. So I'm definitely massively careful. Risk zero doesn't exist, unfortunately, but you can take some out if you are careful.
Cyril, the next question is for you. Will Renault have an upgrade for Austria? And what about the strategy in terms of upgrades for the rest of the season? Will you stick to the original plan of having an aggressive approach?
Yeah, well, absolutely. We've made some tough decision during the break to allow us to do that, to secure the plan, and we will execute that plan. There will be some other decision made that we'll talk on later, but for the time being, on the chassis side, the upgrades are coming. Actually, it's been a huge effort from internal production to get the package from race 3, race 5, race 6. Well, initial numbering, obviously, Vietnam, Netherlands, and Barcelona. That will be on our car in Austria. Those races have obviously not happened, but the performance that was supposed to come will be in Zedveg. But also I want to downplay any expectation, because we know that our car was really, really bad last year. So we just hope that we will be slightly better. And again, because we're still not totally sure of the competitiveness of the car from the winter test. I don't want to say too much at this point. Let's go to Austria. There is a good vibe, but there is clearly a huge satisfaction from the effort that's been put into getting all these parts available in quantity. Also, because we all know that Zeltweg can be harsh for the cars. So, a particular double header in Zeltweg, even if there's been some curb being removed, we had to plan in quantities also some parts which I hope will bring a decent performance to the car.
We hear that new Formula One circuits might be added to the calendar, places like Mugello, Imola, Portimao. How do you prepare for these new venues?
I was very excited to hear. The first, I guess, circuit I heard was Mugello, and that was a circuit I raced back in 2007 for the first time, and it was my favorite circuit that season. You know, I loved just the flowing high-speed corners, and I think in F1 it would be amazing. We had a test there, I think it was back in 2012 in F1. But, you know, the cars now, these 2020 cars around there would be insane. So, yeah, certainly excited if that one takes place.
Daniel, we were always going to get to this point. So our next question is, it's unusual for a driver to announce his plans for the following year during the first race of the season. So are you expecting the atmosphere in the team to be different given that you're leaving at the end of 2020?
I think maybe the first time I see some people in the team, there might be that moment of perhaps I don't know if the word's awkwardness, but I mean I went through it a couple years ago, but actually, you know, I think because time has passed since the news now, you know, I've spoke if not seen already some members of the team, and I think it's really back to business. And I think we're all excited to get racing again, as we know, in a week. And hopefully we get a bundle of races, and hopefully we can get a chance to kind of finish this out strong. So.
And Cyril, just the last word to you. In fact, it's not a question, but just the overriding emotion that's going on within the factory. We've heard from the drivers, but just from a Renault point of view, how excited you are to get back out racing.
Oh, very, very much so. As I was mentioning, you know, it's a nice signal, hopefully sent to the world that under certain conditions and under certain also some safety provisions, we are able to operate again. I mean, we know that the fight against COVID is nowhere to be won yet, but probably a life with COVID can exist. And that's probably the demonstration of that restart of Formula One can show to the world. And again, that's a great opportunity to do it. We are probably one of the first global sports platform to do that. And I hope that we do that, obviously, in style next week.
Yeah, I think everybody cannot wait for it to start. Cyril, Daniel, Esteban, thank you very much, gents, for your company. Thank you very much to you at home as well, or in your offices, wherever you are. And thanks for sending in your questions. Stay safe and well, and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye.